Most backyard ponds don't fail because people don't care. They fail because the filtration was never thought about properly from the start. So if your pond's constantly dirty, full of floating junk or turning green, chances are the filter system just isn't doing its job. In this video, I want to share how a complete pond system actually works, and how you can build your own. But if you don't already know me, my name is Kev, and I help people design and maintain ponds without spending a fortune. If that sounds like your kind of thing, feel free to subscribe and check out Ozponds.com. When it comes to filtering a pond, there's two main jobs that need to be done. There's the mechanical filtration, and that removes the stuff that floats around, think leaves, fish waste, dead algae. And then we have the biological filtration, and that houses beneficial bacteria that process fish waste and nutrients. To help show how this works, let's look at two ponds. This is an Aquascape Pond Kit pond. The components cost me around $5,000, including the rock. By contrast, this is a larger pond, and it cost me closer to $2,000. And it uses the exact same underlying principles, just done in a budget, DIY friendly way. In the professional kit, you're not paying for some magical filtration technology, you're paying for convenience. The way the water is filtered is really quite simple, but let's take a look at how both ponds work. So in the professional setup, the pump sits inside a skimmer. The skimmer pulls floating debris off the surface before it sinks, which massively reduces maintenance. It's simple and it works. But when you strip the idea back, all a skimmer really does is create surface draw, funnel debris towards the pump, and it traps leaves and larger junk before it reaches the biological filter. On my budget pond, I achieved the same outcome using a basic bucket, a coarse sponge, some rocks to create a narrow opening, and a flap of liner to mimic the weir door. It's not as pretty inside, but it does the same job. So both protect the pump, reduce maintenance, and keep the pond looking clean. It's just one costs hundreds of dollars, and the other one around $20. Now let's take a look at the biological filter, and this is where the real magic happens. This is what keeps your water crystal clear and safe for fish over time. The fish produce waste. Even without fish, nutrients are produced. This filter grows good bacteria that essentially move those nutrients along. Eventually a product of that is nitrate, and plants and water changes can remove it. The video on the screen I made will explain it in more detail, and I'll also put a link to it in the description. So in the professional kit, the biological filter is hidden in this waterfall box. It has filter mats and plastic media to grow beneficial bacteria. These good bacteria grow on wet surfaces. The more wet surface area, the more bacteria. In my DIY setup, I used a large barrel that costs $10, and I filled it up with layers of rock and pebble. The water enters, flows up through the media, and exits at the top back into the pond. The principle's much the same in both setups. Water flows through a place that has lots of surface area for bacteria to grow. In the Pro Kit, there are also sponges that will trap fine sediment, so there's a little mechanical filtration built in with the biological filtration. In my DIY filter, there are plants that can trap fine sediments, and they can also remove some of that nitrate that's a byproduct of the bacterial action. Due to the way the filter's designed and the flow rate going through it, it will accumulate waste in the bottom of the filter. And I always include a way to flush out that accumulated waste. Once you understand the way it all works, the way you construct it becomes very flexible. And I've created many guides and calculators that you can find on the Ozponds website. Every pond I build follows the same basic principles. That's the system I've put together in my Pond Formulas blueprint. It's not about copying my pond, it's about understanding the thinking behind it so you can apply the same logic to your own pond. The cool thing is you can add these types of filters to existing ponds as well. And this approach works whether you're building a tiny wine barrel pond, a small backyard pond, or a large dream pond. The size of the containers change and some of the materials might change, but the system doesn't. You still need that mechanical collection of debris, the biological processing of waste and nutrients. You need to put thought into the flow paths and flow rates, and a way to manage sediment over time. And as you've seen, you can buy these filter systems off the shelf, or you can build them on your own. That choice is yours. But if you're planning a pond or you're upgrading an existing one, here are a few simple things to think about. You want to collect floating debris before it sinks. You want to make sure you've got enough biological capacity for the amount of fish you're keeping. More fish means more nutrient, and that needs more good bacteria. You want the filters to be easy to maintain and clean. If it's too hard, you won't do it. And you want everything sized correctly. A small filter on a big pond will do almost nothing. Most long-term pond problems stem from poor design and a lack of knowledge. If you want the full system I use, the planning process, sizing, and how all the pieces work together, that's what the Pond Formula's blueprint's for. You can check it out at ozponds.com if you're curious. And even if you don't use my system, I hope you find all the resources on the website useful. I genuinely want you to get the same enjoyment as I get from my ponds. And if you want to see another more detailed video on how I go about designing my ponds, there should be a video on the screen now. Thanks for watching. See ya.